Is it going to be an inside the Parker? Yes, it is! Good evening and welcome to Tiger Basketball on the Ouachita Sports Digital Network, presented by Taylor King Law. I'm Chase Hartzell, joined by Chris Gay, and we're also going to have a special guest as our court reporter tonight, and that's going to be Brody Kriegel. An exciting night already here tonight at Bill Vining Arena as Ouachita's women's team already defeated East Central's women's team to move up to the outright 6th seed in the conference. For Ouachita right now, also trying to move up in the standings with a fairly evenly matched East Central team in their own right. We take a look at how these two teams are playing coming into this one. Ouachita on a little bit of a skid. They've lost their last 4 straight, but looking to correct that mark here tonight. They've lost 4, as you can see right there, but they've won 5 of their last 6 here at home, and really some tough losses on the road, really close games. Most recently, you're looking at that Battle of the Ravine loss to Henderson State, 62-59, and that one really came down to the wire. Really every game on that stretch went down to the wire. Also Southwestern Oklahoma State, 69-68, Northwestern Oklahoma State, 75-70. So Ouachita was well within striking distance in those games, but just couldn't get the win in that one. But for East Central, they're fresh off a win against a good Southeastern Oklahoma State team. They won 4 of their last 5, and they've won 4 of their last 5 on the road as well, so a little bit of a mirror going there. It's going to be a good matchup tonight, Chris, in this battle of the Tigers.
Yeah, and I can already imagine that the East Central Tigers are going to be wanting to shoot a lot of threes here because they have a lot of great shooters on this roster, including Ellis Lee Jr., Leonard Dixon, Luke Harper, just to name a few. And this team is one of the better three-point shooting teams in the conference, whereas Ouachita is one of the poor or below average when it comes to allowing three-point percentage on the season. So definitely something to keep an eye on, because if East Central wants any chance to kind of propel themselves in this game, it will be with a three-point shot.
And there you can see right now Ouachita right on the border there. Henderson State tying them up at 7th place, 8-10 overall. Big games tonight for the Reddies and the Tigers, as everyone in the conference is playing here tonight. We'll hopefully get a look at that schedule soon. But Southern Nazarene, what a dominant season it's been for the Crimson Storm. They're in the outright first place. Southern Arkansas having a great year as well. And Southeastern Oklahoma State having a really quality season as well. You look at East Central, they're currently in a pretty good spot. They're at 9-9. That puts them tied for 5th place, but that's only 1 game above where the Tigers are right now. And, you know, as we've talked with Coach Dallimore and Coach Nutt over the past couple of weeks, Chris, one of the things that both of them have said is that no lead is safe in a conference race like this, especially when you have 2 or 3 games left in the year. That can fluctuate quite a bit. Both of these teams wanting to make a statement here tonight to really cement their place with where they are in the current standings.
Well, Ouachita Women's did that big time with a blowout win against East Central, and that's an East Central team that was really evenly matched up with them. In fact, they had the exact same record, and Ouachita looked like the better team from the second quarter there on out. So Ouachita's men's group will look to be doing the exact same thing in this one.
We are about to have the starting lineups here in just a few moments. So for that, we're going to send it over to public address announcer Dr. Casey Model. As you take a look at the schedule around the conference, everybody doing a 7:30 tip-off tonight. Some big games everywhere here in Arkansas and Oklahoma, and it'll be interesting to see what effects that has on the standings going forward.
Tonight's great American Conference contest featuring the Tigers of East Central University against your Ouachita Tigers. And now introducing the starting lineup for the East Central University Tigers. Graduate forward from Bartlesville, Oklahoma, number 0, Barron Tanner Jr. Graduate guard from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, number 23, Quentin Johnson II. Sophomore forward from Enugu, Nigeria, number 5, God's Gift Ezedinma. Graduate guard from Plano, Texas, number 22, Luke Harper. And junior guard from Kansas City, Kansas, number 14, Keon Thomas. The head coach of the ECU Tigers is Daniel Wheeler. The assistant coach is Zach Price. And now, Tiger Nation, let me hear you roar! This is the Fairfield by Marriott Big Red Convenience Store starting lineup for your Ouachita Tigers! Sophomore guard from Vivian, Louisiana, number 2, Reggie Martin. Sophomore guard from Marbella, Spain, number 12, Alex Scariolo. Junior forward from Memphis, Tennessee, number 23, Tyler Haynes. Senior guard from Holcomb, Mississippi, number 3, Madarius Hobson. And graduate guard from Benton Harbor, Michigan, number 4, Laquan Butler Jr. The head coach of the Ouachita Tigers is Dennis Nutt. The assistant coach is Levin Thornton. Tonight's officials are Brad Gaston, Tony Smith, and Reggie Johnson.
Well, there you have it, tonight's starting lineups for this Great American Conference matchup for the visiting East Central Tigers out of Ada, Oklahoma, and the hometown Ouachita Tigers right here in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. The Tigers of East Central will be wearing all black kits here tonight, and Ouachita in all white. As we are just about set for tip-off here at Bill Vining Arena, Tyler Haynes will line up opposite of Ezedinma. Official has it set. Here's the tip, and we are underway at Bill Vining Arena. The ECU Tigers winning the tip, and now they go into motion. Butler, the on-ball defender. Pass inside. It's a good one, and it's in for 2. Credit the first 2 points of the night.
Well, another thing I'd mentioned, three-point shooting was going to be a huge factor in this game, but also the size advantage that ECU has. Their tallest player is 6'8". That's not necessarily very tall when it comes to this, but Ouachita's tallest is 6'5", as Hobson going to have a chance to go to the line. But still, size is going to be a huge factor in this game. But then again, the quickness of Ouachita, we'll see if they can really kind of outrun them, especially on the break.
So Hobson makes his first. He's had a really good season here in his senior campaign. Won GAC Player of the Week honors earlier in the year as he goes 2 for 2 at the charity stripe in this trip. Harper gets a screen. Kicks it out to the corner. This one's for 3. It's no good. Board by Haynes. Tigers taking it the other way. It's Butler. He's going to swing it cross court to Scariolo. It's no good. Tries to put it up a second time. That one doesn't go as well. Harper pulls up for 3. That one's no good. Off the left iron. Butler taking it up tempo. Pass inside to Haynes. It's blocked.
It looks like Haynes got a shot to the head there as well.
Pull up from mid-range is good, and ECU takes the lead back. Hobson pulls up from mid-range. That one's no good. Haynes with the putback, though. And Ouachita struggling a bit with those second chance opportunities, able to get the boards, but they come away empty-handed.
Yeah, it's uncharacteristic to see Haynes already missed 2 layups, one at the top, as that one was a defensive breakdown by Ouachita. He's one of the best shooters in the conference thus far.
That time, Barron Tanner Jr. getting wide open on the mismatch, and ECU's lead is up to 4. Ouachita trying to space the floor and get a good shot. Martin swings it to Butler. Now he's just going to pull up for 3. It's no good off the front iron. And now East Central taking it the other way. This one, a pull-up from 3, it's no good. Trying to bank it off the backboard that time, and it was a bit too strong. Butler trying to avoid the travel. Great job there to retain his composure, and he puts it up for 2. That brings Ouachita back within 2.
Well, keeping his pivot foot right there stationary is so hard to do in that situation. And you can see the East Central coach was wanting to travel on that one, but he was able to keep his pivot, and it looked like a travel, but it was just a great offensive play by Butler.
Shot is no good, but the offensive board that time for ECU. Ball's tipped, and it's going to be a shot clock violation regardless.
Yeah, Ouachita looked out because I think that may have been off of Haynes. And East Central, they would have had a late second opportunity, but it would have been another opportunity done, excuse me, nonetheless.
Leonard Dixon out of Damascus, Oregon. We'll see his first playing time of the night for ECU as Butler brings the ball up the floor. Martin, good spin move, but it's blocked as he goes up. Haynes does corral it. Pass inside to Hobson, and he gets it in.
Well, you can see Hobson, he's such a patient player. He had the open layup, and he was wanting to get the defender up in the air to try to draw the foul. Obviously, he doesn't get that. It's a three-pointer there is good by Johnson, but it was still a veteran sort of play. He got him up in the air and was able to get even more separation on the layup.
Johnson off to a fast start in this one, a quick 7 points on the night. Scariolo trying to create some separation here. Instead, he pulls up for 3, bounces around, but it's not going to go. And now it's ECU taking it the other way. That time drawing contact as he goes up, and he'll shoot 2. That's Johnson over there on the left side, but that does take us to our first media timeout. So the ECU Tigers will have free throws when we come back. They lead at 9-6 with 15:37 remaining in the first half. You're watching Tiger basketball on the Ouachita Sports Digital Network. But before that, we're actually going to send it over to Brody Kriegel for a sideline report.
Well, it's been close. The height difference is the key difference so far between Ouachita and East Central, as Ouachita has struggled to make those distance shots and has to result to layups as their most scored points. So far, it's been close, and a bit of physicality, too. It's still early, but so far we've got a good game on hands with East Central in the lead. I'm Brody Kriegel. That's all I have for now.
All right, well, thank you, Brody, for that insight. We're going to take a quick timeout, and we'll be back with more Tiger basketball after this. And we welcome you back now to Tiger Basketball on the Ouachita Sports Digital Network, presented by Taylor King Law. And it'll be Quentin Johnson II at the charity stripe. He hits his first shot, making it an even 8 points on the night already.
Well, so far this game, it's been all Johnson. He has now going to be 9 points for East Central, and only one of 2 scores of this game, and he's just started hot, and he has not missed a shot yet.
Butler trying to get something set up on the far side as Martin swings it across. Butler going to have to do something here with just 6 seconds on the shot clock, trying to move it around. puts it up in traffic, and it's blocked.
Yeah, there was a lot of contact there. I'm surprised there was no call.
Harper has the ball for ECU. Tigers leading it by 5. And now the leading scorer, Johnson, swings it back to Harper. Floater is good, and a beautiful shot in the mid-range that time. Extends the lead to 7 for the visiting team. Pass inside to Hobson. Now he swings it across to Butler Jr. for 3. No good off the left iron, and now we're going to have a foul on the floor. Looks like Harper got a bit too aggressive that time and ran into Scariolo.
This is first personal foul. Stepping into Washita, number 25, Jared Adams. Stepping out number 12, Alex Scariolo.
So Jared Adams checking in for Washita, and Romello Wilbert is checking in for ECU. Martin designs to pull up for 3. It's no good, though he did have a bit of separation. Butler's going to pull up for another 3. This one doesn't go. Adams with the offensive board. Is the third time the charm? No, that one is off. And finally, it's going to go out of bounds and go to East Central.
Stepping out number 0, Marvin Williams-Dunn. Stepping out number 2.
Oh, OBU not really the best three-point shooting team, but all of those were really good looks, especially that last one by Martin. If you're Washita, if you want to get back into this game, you got to knock those down.
Meanwhile, ECU on the other side of the floor trying to extend its lead. Already up by 7, and Harper has his pass tipped. Hobson trying to save it. It's going the other way anyways. Marvin Williams-Dunn is in the game for Washita, and he'll bring the ball up the floor for the Tigers. He's being guarded by Wilbert. Williams-Dunn in the corner. Now Butler pulls up from the mid-range. It's a floater, and it's good.
Such a nice move. He obviously got the defender thinking step-back jumper, but got him with a pump fake, went with the floater. Beautiful move by Butler.
Just the third make and 16 tries from the floor early on in this one for Washita, as they look to try and cut into the deficit, but first they got to make a stop on defense. The shot for 3, it's good.
Yeah, Dixon's going to hurt you. He's a 6'7" shooter. He's a big man basically, but he's got a great three-point stroke, and he's going to hit that when he's open.
Hobson, the pass to Haynes in the mid-range. Butler trying to create some separation. Now Hobson going to pull it for 3. That one's off the back iron. Harper. Now a pull up from 3. That one doesn't go, and now Butler swings it to Williams-Dunn. Now again, Butler for 3. That one's off. Tigers continuing to struggle from beyond the arc in this one. That one's off the front iron for ECU. Williams-Dunn kicks it out to Hobson, and that's going to go out of bounds. It's the first turnover of the game for the Tigers, and it's going to take us to our next media timeout. Washita trailing in this one 16-8. You're watching Tiger basketball on the Washita Sports Digital Network, presented by Taylor King Law.
I've heard people say Ouachita.
Oh, Wichita.
Achita.
Ouachita.
Is it pronounced Ouachita?
Searching for Washita Baptist University.
Back in Texas, everybody pronounces it Wichita, but really, it's Washita.
Washita. Washita.
How would you pronounce it?
Washita.
Washita.
It's Washita Baptist University. Get it right.
It's Washita, people. It's Washita.
Washita.
Hello, I'm Taylor King. I've been practicing law for over 34 years, but long before that, I learned what it takes to be a good lawyer. Caring for others. You could say it's a family trait, and it's one I've passed along to my kids. If you've been involved in an accident, call 1-800-CAR-WRECK. I want to help.
We want to help, to be on your side, by your side. I'm Austin King. Now, I've not been practicing law quite as long as my dad, but thanks to him, I know what it takes to be a good lawyer. I guess you could say it runs in the family.
And we welcome you back now to Tiger Basketball on the Washita Sports Digital Network, presented by Taylor King Law. It's been tough sledding for the home squad here tonight early on shooting. Currently shooting 16.7% as a team. On the flip side of it, ECU and even 50% from the field. And that is why they currently enjoy an 8-point advantage.
Well, and it's not like Washita has had bad looks or no looks. They've had some good looks that they just haven't been able to knock down. Once they start doing that, they're going to be able to cut into this deficit a lot more.
Kick into the corner. This one is up, and it's off. Put back that time, though, for 2, and it's now a double-digit lead for ECU.
Yeah, there wasn't enough Washita players under the basket, and that was just going to be an easy tip-in by Wilbert regardless.
Good backdoor pass that time to Madarius Hobson, but they're going to say it's a turnover on Washita.
Well, that's really unfortunate for Washita. They had a great look there. It was a nice play by Butler, but it's really hard to control where you're at around that baseline. It's same in those corners. It's very difficult to navigate.
That time Martin trying to come down with the board, but they'll say it was tipped off of an ECU player and it's going the other way. Great turnout here on a Thursday night as Washita playing one of its final games of the regular season stretch. Adams trying to go with the baby hook that time. It's no good. And now ECU taking it the other way. Always got to be careful calling games like this, Chris, because every Tiger's making a play in this game with both sides having that Tiger mascot. It can get a little bit confusing. As that one is no good from ECU, but a great job crashing the boards by Akers. Tries to put it back up. That's Williams Dunn with the rejection. Great play there by the young man from New Zealand. And now he has it, but passes it back to Hobson. Now Haynes with maybe a mismatch inside. Now Williams Dunn for 3. Again, it doesn't go for Washita. Still trying to take the lid off the basket from long range. Washita is 0 for 8 in that category up to this point. Here's a pull-up from 3. Doesn't go. Martin swings it to Hobson or to Williams Dunn. ECU's done a phenomenal job of closing down closing down the key in this one, as there's really nothing that Washita's been able to do inside the paint.
No, exactly. And Tyler Haynes, who's one of the top players in the conference and one of the more efficient players in the conference, has not been able to do anything in this game. Actually has 0 points on both of his shot attempts being misses, obviously. So little congratulatory for the East Central Tigers in this one.
And that time, what ended up as a short shot ended up working as an unconventional assist as Jared Adams puts it back up for 2. It was good defense that time from ECU, but Adams with a greater heads-up play that time to get Ouachita to double-digit points on the night. Here's the pull-up from 3. That one is good. That's Ezedinma pulling up for 3 that time, and ECU back to a double-digit advantage as Williams Dunn brings it up for OBU.
Well, East Central, they have a lot of shooters, as I said, but a lot of those shooters are bigs, like Ezedinma there. So very valuable for teams to have a big man that can be able to shoot as well as some of these guys can.
That one doesn't go for Ouachita, and now it'll be ECU taking it the other way. That is Thomas with the ball. He's being guarded by Haynes. Harper trying to get some space. Shot clock running down. Now Thomas, pass inside. It's deflected. It's out of bounds, and it's staying with ECU.
Well, it's just good recovery defense multiple times by Ouachita, something that they need to continue doing in this game.
And that does take us to our next media timeout. And while we have this break in the action, we're going to send it over to our courtside reporter, Brody Kriegel. Brody, what do you have for us?
Despite what the scoreboard says, the game's actually been pretty close. Although East Central has made the most of all their scoring opportunities, Ouachita has played it pretty tough competitively. The reason the scoreboard's not the way it is because of missed opportunities and fouls. Ouachita has every chance to be in this, but East Central keeps playing great, and the missed opportunities are getting to them. That's all I have for now. Back to you.
All right, well, thank you, Brody. Chris, any thoughts from you?
Well, I know Coach Nunn is talking over to his team, probably saying, hey, guys, let's calm down. Let's get the best shot possible. And for goodness sakes, let's knock it down. They are 4 of 23 in this game, have missed all 8 of their three-point shots. But he's probably also trying to tell them, hey, let's get into the paint. We have not even attempted a free throw yet in this game. Let's try to get some of these these points back at the free throw line. So if you're Coach Knight, you're trying to tell this team, be a little bit more physical. The defense has been all right. It's just the shots just have not been falling, and that happens sometimes. But if they want to break their 4-game losing streak, the time is now. They have to get it going with 7:21 left to play in the first.
And being on the fringes of tournament contention, very small room for error down the stretches. This is a miss for ECU. Now Ouachita taking it the other way. That's Butler bringing the ball up the floor. He's been a very effective scorer at times this season. Has struggled here tonight, but it wouldn't be a surprise to see him get fired up here as this game continues. Martin swings it to Haynes, over to Butler. Now this one for 3. That one is going to go. Nothing but net from the graduate guard from Michigan. And now Ouachita trails by just 8. Harper receives a screen from his teammate. Now he's just going to pull it from mid-range, and that one was well off. And some miscommunication there between the Tigers of Ouachita is going to result in a turnover.
Well, that miss by Harper, definitely something we don't see very often. One of the more efficient shooters on this team, a team full of shooters. Not going to see him miss too many of those open ones.
Kobe Dunlap is into the game for Ouachita. And Butler almost coming away with the steal that time, but they're going to say his foot touched the line.
Yeah, I think with Coach Nutt bringing in Dunlap, this is him saying, all right, we need some offense. And Dunlap, the second he gets space, he's pulling up from 3, and he's a very good three-point shooter. So we'll probably see some offense from him pretty soon.
That time lost the dribble. Here's Dunlap in transition. And they're going to say it's going the other way. Dunlap wants a goaltend. And I think Coach Nutt does too.
Yeah, that sure looked pretty close. I think definitely a replay could probably overturn that one or possibly keep it the way it is. But the player on the block, of course, was Quentin Johnson, and actually him and Laquan Butler Jr. were both teammates at Texas Rio Grande Valley, at least just last season. Both graduate seniors in their final season of college eligibility.
Meanwhile, Johnson pulling up from the mid-range, and he misses there, and Butler looks like he took a hand or an elbow to the face there. Ouachita trying to cut into ECU's lead. They're down by 8. Butler pulls up, and we have a whistle. There is a foul called here, and it looks like it's going to be on the visiting Tigers. And for the first time tonight, excuse me, the second time tonight, Ouachita headed to the charity stripe. This is the first opportunity that Laquan Butler has had at the free throw line tonight for the Tigers. He currently leads the team in points with 7, make that 8 with this make.
Subbing in for East Central, number 3, Romello Wilbert. Subbing out number 14, Keon Thomas.
Second one is good from Butler as well, and that brings Ouachita within 6 points with just under 6 minutes to go here in the first half of play. It's a defensive battle tonight at Bill Vining Arena. That time Butler coming away with the steal. Here he is in transition. Goes for the lay-in, and he's got it. Laquan Butler Jr. into double digits now with 11 points. And Ouachita keeps edging closer and closer to ECU. Now a backdoor cut, and Johnson wanted the shot. It's going to be tipped, but it's out of bounds off of Ouachita. Johnson had 9 quick points in this game, but he's been quiet over the last several. Meanwhile, Laquan Butler Jr. doing his part to try and take over this ball game. Just 5 seconds on the shot clock. There's the inbound way back. And now Harper's just going to have to pull up here, and that one's good.
Well, he knew he didn't have much time left on the clock, and he knew he was going amongst the trees, and just a great little floater there. Getting the bucket, and here's Dunlap. I told you, give him a little bit of space. He's pulling up immediately.
Ouachita does get the offensive board, so they'll have another opportunity here. Butler kicks it back out to Dunlap. Now he's going to try to find an opening. Pass inside to Haynes. It's a beautiful reverse lay-in.
Well, maybe that one will get Haynes going. He's already got 6 rebounds, but that's his first points in the game. And Ouachita's cut it to 4, so attacking the paint, getting to the free throw line, that's something they've done well, and that's something that I mentioned they needed to do to get back into this game.
Meanwhile, Harper, spot-up shooter that time, gets a triple for ECU. Ouachita down by 7. Adams to Martin. Martin trying to drive. He kicks it over to Haynes. It's stripped away. Now ECU in transition somehow holds on to the ball. It was tipped that time as Romello Wilbert was going up. Somehow he still corrals it, and in one swooping motion lays it right in for the Tigers. ECU now leads it by 8.
Well, that was just
9.
Great concentration by Wilbert. And on the previous play, I think Martin really could have gone up with the shot there as Johnson with the slam. But definitely Martin could have had the opportunity to get a bucket there.
And we're going to have a timeout here on the floor. And Brody has a report for us over there. So, Brody, what have you got?
Despite their comeback efforts, we've seen the Tigers struggle as of recently with the supreme lack of discipline, the Ouachita Tigers. East Central continues to make their opportunities, and Ouachita, they've done everything in their power, but East Central's just been overwhelming to them. We've seen them try to make the most of their opportunities, such as making the free throw and holding East Central scoreless for just a couple minutes back there. But East Central has woken up and has taken control of this game as they now hold a double-digit lead. That's all I've got. Back to you.
All right, well, thank you, Brody. And right now, East Central riding a wave of momentum into this brief timeout. That last possession capped off by a two-hand jam from Quentin Johnson, the second. He's now up to double digits on the night. He is even with Laquan Butler with 11 points. And we're going to go ahead and stay here as we're just about ready to resume action at Bill Vining Arena. Chris, do you have any other observations that you'd like to add?
Well, I think one positive that Ouachita can take away from this game right now is they're out-rebounding East Central right now, only by one, but they do have three more offensive boards than East Central does, and a lot of that has to do with, again, them being down has to do with them not knocking down shots. They started to get a little bit of a thing going by getting inside, getting into the paint, and they'll look to continue that success and try to cut away at this 11-point lead by East Central.
Butler brings the ball up the floor here as Ouachita is shooting 25% as a team at the moment. Butler swings it over to Scariolo in the corner. Butler has a little bit of separation. He goes down after some contact. No foul called, and ECU is going to take it the other way. Pull up from mid-range. That one doesn't go. Haynes with the board. Lucky number 7 on the night for the junior forward, and now Butler in transition. Beautiful floater. It's up, it's good, and Ouachita cuts into the deficit. It's now a single-digit lead once again for ECU.
Well, Ouachita, obviously not much has been going right on offense for this team, but one thing that is Laquan Butler Jr. He's got 13. You got to keep giving that guy the ball, keep getting him into the paint, because his three-point shot not really falling right now. Get into the paint.
And we've got a traveling violation called here on Wilbert, as it looks like possession will be heading the other way. Ouachita trying to gain some momentum heading into the break. Tigers trailing by 9. As Hobson pulls up from mid-range with a hand in his face, it doesn't matter. Great shot there from the senior guard. And now ECU brings the ball up the floor with their lead now trimmed down to 7. Trying to cut to the basket, pulls up from mid-range. That one won't go. Martin comes away with the ball. They're going to go ahead and say, though, that Akers had it. He stepped on the line. It's going to go to Ouachita regardless. But we are going to have the inbound here. Scariolo loses the handle on it, and it's stolen away, but he tries to steal it right back, and now we're going to have a jump ball. Looks like it's going to stay with Ouachita as the possession arrow is pointing the Tigers' way.
Yeah, it wasn't the best pass, and that kind of set up that sort of disastrous play for Ouachita. And possession arrow still says Ouachita, so I guess I'm not really sure exactly what the official is talking about. It may be related to the shot clock. I bet that's what it is. It says 20 seconds right now. Still no signal. I must be wrong because obviously nothing's wrong with the shot clock. And Butler's going to throw in.
Inbound to Martin as Ouachita trying to get inside here. Scariolo with a pretty move and an even prettier finish. Ouachita now within 5 points, and ECU is going to have it for the last possession of the first half. That one rims in and out. Chance for one more from the baseline. That doesn't go, and that wraps up the first half of play. 20 minutes are in the books and 20 more to go here at Bill Vining Arena tonight. Your score, East Central 30, Ouachita 25. We're going to have the Roar Rundown for you here as part of our halftime show, and we'll be back to break down the stats in just a few moments. You're watching Tiger Basketball on the Ouachita Sports Digital Network.
Is it going to be an inside the Parker? Yes, it
is. Hello, I'm Taylor King. I've been practicing law for over 34 years, but long before that, I learned what it takes to be a good lawyer, caring for others. You could say it's a family trait, and it's one I've passed along to my kids. If you've been involved in an accident, call 1-800-CAR-WRECK. I want to help.
We want to help, to be on your side, by your side. I'm Austin King. Now, I've not been practicing law quite as long as my dad, but thanks to him, I know what it takes to be a good lawyer. I guess you could say it runs in the family.
Our town, a place for new beginnings, stalwart pine trees, reuniting with old friends. Whether you find yourself here for a ball game, a wedding, or just to catch up with those you love, we want to invite you to be a guest on our front porch, a place to sit back and watch the world go by, a place where time seems to slow down. Our home away from home. Welcome back. Captain Henderson House, now accepting reservations.
Whether you realize it or not, you see the work of Batson Signs all around Arkadelphia. When you see the Badger equipment trailer on the way to a Badger game, Batson Signs did that. When you're watching the Badgers, Tigers, or Reddies and see the signage that just really makes their facilities pop, Batson Signs did that too. You see the signage in downtown Arkadelphia, on the campuses of Ouachita and Henderson, or the sign in your neighbor's yard supporting a candidate or their favorite Badger? Yep, Batson Sign did that too. Longtime residents and supporters of all things Arkadelphia called Mark, Jared, Chris, or Ryan at Batson Signs today to see what they can do for you.
Great American Conference slate.
Also this weekend, the Muse Project Clue opens up in Verser Theater and runs Thursday through Sunday.
This time of year is always busy in the world of athletics as it's crossover season between winter and spring sports. Jay Brumsey brings us up to speed on what's been going on in Ouachita athletics and a sneak peek into the fall. Jay?
Hey Tigers, this is Jay Brumsey with your Roar Rundown. The Ouachita Baptist University football team has released its schedule for 2023, which includes 6 home games at Cliff Harris Stadium this year. The 2023 regular season once again features a full 11-game Great American Conference slate. The Paul Sharp Cup will be defended early on in the season with a season opener on August 31st against Southwestern Oklahoma State. The Ouachita Baptist University softball team picked up 2 wins, sweeping the William Baptist Eagles 7-4 in Game 1 and 8-4 in Game 2 this past weekend. Tuesday, Milton earned her second win and second complete game of the season, going a full 7 innings in the circle. Milton struck out 4 and allowed just 5 hits and 3 earned runs in the game. Callie Jordan went 3 for 3 at the plate with 3 singles and a run scored. And also a huge congratulations to Madison Shoebottom, who hit her first collegiate home run, which ended up being a 3-run bomb en route to a 2 for 4 day at the plate, which included 3 RBIs. Hope Wade went 2 for 3 with a run scored and 2 stolen bases as well. Aaron Williams also recorded 2 RBIs in the game. The Lady Tigers look to continue their success in a matchup today on the road against Union University. The Ouachita Baptist University baseball team improved to 4-2 on the season in games played at Majestic Park in Hot Springs after defeating McKendree 10-2 and Lane College 9-2 on Saturday. Wyatt Court had a big day for the Tigers, accounting for 25% of the team's combined hits in 2 victories. Court started with a 5 for 5 outing against McKendree and then went 2 for 3 against Lane to give him a .636 batting average and a 1.542 OPS through the first 6 games of the year in the nightcap. G. Allen and Isaac Noel led the Tigers' offense with 2 hits each. Noel hit his first home run of the season with a solo shot to left in the 3rd inning. Pitching was again a highlight of the night with only 2 unearned runs surrendered to the Dragons. Hayden Childers, 2-0, earned the win after giving up just 1 unearned run off 3 hits with 6 strikeouts in the first 5 innings. Bryce Smith, Jacob Bowman, and Jonathan Weiss combined to hold the Dragons to just 1 unearned run. The baseball team will continue its season this week. On Saturday, the Ouachita Baptist University wrestling team finished 2-1 at the Great Lakes Valley Conference duels, defeating Quincy and Davenport before falling to Maryville. Johnny Green led the Tigers to a 2-0 record in the 285 division on Sunday, pinning Quincy Matthew Ludwig in 55 seconds and winning a 3-1 sudden victory in extra time against Maryville's Ryan Herman. Xander Fields finished 2-1 in the 149 category, including a 10-8 decision win over Quincy's Julian Solis and a 2-minute and 31-second fall over Davenport's Deegan Herman. Cole Eason finished 2-1 in the 174 weight class, highlighted by an 8-5 decision over Quincy's Ricardo Adame and a 1-minute and 47-second fall against Davenport's Travis Marsh. The Tigers wrap up the regular season 7-6 overall in duels and 4-3 in GLVC competition, the best finish for the program since becoming an associate member of the GLVC in 2018. Ouachita is now set to compete in the NCAA Super Regionals meet on February 26 in Edmond, Oklahoma. In women's basketball this week, the Ladies Tiger fell to its Cross Street rivals Henderson State University on Tuesday night at the Duke Wells Center by a final score of 82-72. The loss evens the season series between the Tigers and the Reddies. Both teams couldn't miss early, but a 13-0 run for the Reddies over a 3-minute period led to a double-digit lead heading into the second period. However, in the third period, the Tigers turned in their best offensive performance of the game with 28 points, but were unable to erase its halftime deficit. Ouachita rallied to cut the HSU lead down to 1 on 2 different possessions, but a pair of unanswered baskets at the end of the period left HSU up by 6 heading into the fourth. 4 Tigers finished the game scoring in double digits, led by Lainey Mears with 19, Grayson Fairless had 17 points and a team-high 8 rebounds. Michaela Miller also added 14 points and 6 boards. Heidi Robinson finished with 13 points. Ouachita is back in action this Thursday night at home against East Central, so be sure to check that out. Last night, men's basketball also fell to Henderson State University as well by a score of 62-59, splitting the regular season series with the Reddies. Both teams were off to a slow start with neither of them making baskets consistently. After a back-and-forth first half and a close second half at the end, the Tigers took their first lead with 2 minutes and 58 seconds left in the game, but the Reddies took it right back with 20 seconds later. The deficit was cut to a single point on free throws from Haynes, but Henderson pushed it back to 3 with free throws on its own. The Tigers couldn't get their last shot off in time and fell to the Reddies by a score of 62-59. Tyler Haynes recorded his second straight double-double with 16 points and 13 rebounds. The 13 boards tied a season high. Alex Garriolo scored 14 points, followed by Madarius Hobson with 11 points, and Laquan Butler 10 points. The Tigers look to get back on track this Thursday as they host East Central in Bill Vining Arena. Be sure to return next week for more exciting news and things to come in Ouachita sports. To watch live streams, visit the Ouachita Sports Digital Network on YouTube. I'm Jay Brumsey, and this is your Roar Rundown.
Thank you, Jay. Well, Haley, did you have a good Valentine's Day?
I had a wonderful Valentine's Day. I got to go to dinner and play in an intramural basketball game, so that sounds like a perfect evening.
Well, awesome. Well, that's it all for today. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week with more of the latest Ouachita news.
Touchdown, Ouachita! Way up at the buzzer! Is it going to be an inside the Parker? Yes, it is!
Welcome back. As you can see, our Ouachita Tigers trail 25-30 at half. Despite trailing by double digits twice in the first half, the Tigers have not given up once as they've kept it close all game long despite the physical and game plan. And the game plan, I can't find the word. Despite the differences, Ouachita will not go down without a fight, and the Tigers of East Central are still trying their best, but they can tell that this is not going to be an easy finish, as this will have to come down to the last second. Despite the lack of discipline that the Ouachita Tigers have played with and the crucial turnovers, they've stayed in this game to try and come back, and they've still got a whole half of basketball left to play. That's all I got for now. This is Brody Kriegel. Back to you.
All right, well, thank you, Brody. This is the halftime report of Tiger basketball on the Ouachita Sports Digital Network, presented by Taylor King Law. And Chris, one of the big stories going into this one was the slow start shooting for Ouachita, especially beyond the arc. In this one, it felt like it took Ouachita some time to take the cover off of the basket from three-point range. They finally did hit a three-pointer there. That's their only three-point make of the contest thus far, going 1 for 11. As a team thus far, Ouachita shooting 31.3% and East Central shooting 38.7%. It's really been a low-scoring affair between these two teams. What do you think we can expect going forward?
Well, I think Ouachita is going to really push the action when it comes to attacking in the paint, because that is something that has kind of worked for them, especially towards the second, like the waning minutes of the second half or the first half. So, but if you're East Central, they're going to keep pushing the action. Ouachita's defense locked up a little bit, and their shooting percentages went down because of it. So I think that we're going to see a little bit more up-tempo from Ouachita to try to get some more quick opportunities, and if you're East Central, slow it down a little bit and get in sort of an offensive rhythm.
Well, let's take a look at some of the big players that have made a difference in this one. Laquan Butler Jr., one of the usual suspects that we're talking about in terms of scoring. He got off to a bit of a slow start in this one, but really started to pick up the pace there at the end of the half. Almost took over this game completely. If he was given a little more time, he might have done just that. We'll see how he keeps the momentum rolling, but 13 points up to this point. He leads both teams in terms of scoring, but Quentin Johnson, the second of ECU, having a great game in his own right. He's also in double figures with 11 points, and he also had a highlight reel dunk to cap off that first half of play.
Yeah, definitely, and the two former teammates in Johnson and Butler, a little, sort of having a little bit of a square off, and it'll be interesting to see because Johnson, he got hot just all over the place, and he was attacking the rim extremely well. And Butler is known for, step back threes just about all the time. But what he's done is he's used that handle to majestically get into the paint, and it's worked so far. And I imagine that we'll continue to see him more and more. But also I'd like to add, give Madarius Hobson a few more opportunities, at least in the mid-range. He hit a fall-away jumper earlier in the first half. Get him a few more shot opportunities like that, and that score, that deficit's going to go down even more.
And we'd also be remiss if we didn't mention Tyler Haynes and Jared Adams. Fantastic performance on the boards thus far. Haynes with 7 and Adams with 6. That about wraps up the statistical analysis, but I want to give a quick announcement about a special afternoon that's coming up pretty soon here at Ouachita Baptist University, as Next Saturday, on February 25th, it'll be Senior Day here at Ouachita Baptist University. In terms of basketball, and the women's basketball alumni group will be having their annual get-together here at Bill Vining Arena. They'll have a special recognition at halftime in that one. So there are a lot of different activities that the Ouachita women's basketball alumni can look forward to that day, including a shoot-around, and they're also going to have some fellowship time and eventually join here for the celebration at Bill Vining Arena. A very exciting day to wrap up the regular season, and both the men's and the women's teams with playoff aspirations at this point, both currently in contention for a spot in the Great American Conference Tournament. Both have received a great turnout today from the home crowd. We've also got some special guests across the way, including a great representation from the OBU Trio group. If you have not heard about that wonderful program, please go to the Ouachita Baptist University website and look that up. It is a great program that offers a lot of opportunities for young people and helps them out as they try to pursue their dream of a college degree. So we thank the Trio program for everything that they do here on campus. And right now, Ouachita's basketball team going to try to do everything it can to come back in this one. We are just about ready to resume action here at Bill Vining Arena. The two teams already taking the floor.
Yeah, and it will be East Central with the ball, I do believe, based off the possession arrow.
And there you can take a look at some of our special guests here tonight. Now we're back to the action. Harper with the ball.
Yeah, there was no way that Butler, that was a big size mismatch there with Butler and Johnson. Johnson 6'6", and Butler 6 inches shorter at 6 foot even. It was a nice hard drive by Scariolo, and we haven't really called out his name a whole lot. He's only played 9 minutes, had 2 points on just 3 field goal attempts. See if he can get going a little bit at the line.
Scariolo makes his first. And it rows around, but he got the shooter's roll. Make it 2 for 2 for Scariolo at the charity stripe. And now ECU taking it the other way. Swing over into the corner now, a pull up from mid-range. That one no good off the front iron. Haynes with the board, he passes it off to Butler. Now Butler driving the lane and put that one on Sports Center. Laquan Butler Jr. making what seemed to be an impossible play up the lane.
Well, that was the best play of the night right there. That was an amazing play. Hard drive and such a fancy, nice finish. And then the block at the other end for Butler. I mean, like I said, this guy's going to be the key to winning, as he is most nights, but definitely now with everybody else kind of really struggling to shoot the ball.
Pass into the corner. This one for 3, and it is nothing but net. That's Keon Thomas drilling the triple that time for ECU. Now Ouachita looking for a response. Martin trying to drive. He pulls up. Now pass all the way across the floor, and that one was going to be almost impossible to save for Thomas as he was on his horse that time trying to get to it.
Well, that pass was an excellent pass, but for a second, it just was probably an inch away from hitting the Jumbotron. I was waiting for it to make contact, but it never did. But Ouachita, something that they can look kind of positively on is they've kept Keon Thomas at bay. He's their leading scorer, and he's really been kind of held down to just 3 points.
Harper trying to let the offense develop a little bit here. Thomas. Scariolo, the on-ball defender. That one won't go. Thomas with the second chance bucket. That one will go. And ECU adds on a couple more.
Well, Hobson a little early on the jump there, going for the rebound, causing that opportunity.
Meanwhile, Tyler Haynes responding with 2 points of his own, and again, the pendulum swings back and forth between these two teams, neither one wanting to give an inch. It was a defensive battle in that first half, but the offense seemed to be clicking pretty well here early in the second as Harper pulls up with a triple.
Well, that was an excellent play set there, and he's one of the best shooters in the conference, and 40% plus from 3 for Harper. Definitely not a guy you want to give a look.
Holding foul on East Central, number 5, God's Gift Ezedina. That is his first personal foul. Second against Ouachita, number 0, Marvin Williams-Dunn.
There's the inbound to Haynes. He puts it back up for 2.
Well, that's a positive sign for Ouachita. Haynes really had nothing going in the first half. Now he's got 6 off of some nice feeds inside, and that's something to get him going. He can get going, and he's a very efficient shooter.
Scariolo bringing the ball up the floor for Ouachita.
Well, that sure looked like that was up and down by Johnson as he went for the jump pass and did not come down, or he was not able to come down with it, and it does end up being a turnover in Ouachita's ball.
Hobson passes it off to Williams-Dunn. Tigers moving it around the perimeter. Now the pass inside to Haynes. Tries to tip it back up and in, doesn't go. And now Harper in transition. ECU swinging the ball around. Johnson swings it all the way across the court. Posting up on Scariolo, it goes.
Well, this is where the size advantage comes into play for East Central. Scariolo, he's a 6'3" guard, and he's sort of playing power forward on defense. As Edema definitely has a size advantage. He's got a few inches on him, and so that was going to be an easy one for him.
So God's Gift Ezedinma with 5 points now on the game, and we're going to go ahead and send it over to Brody Kriegel for another sideline report here at Bill Vining Arena. Brody, what do you have for us?
It's been all gas and no breaks up to this point in the second half as both teams are clicking offensively, making highlight reel plays and scoring points. There was a turnover near the end, but Ouachita still has a chance to do one thing that they haven't done in this game so far, and that's take the lead. Trailing by 9, and with 16 minutes, or well, under 16 minutes left, there's still plenty of time for Ouachita to do that. But East Central, with their size mismatch, it has been proving really difficult for Ouachita to defend. However, the Ouachita Tigers keep their foot on the gas, and they will not stop as we still have a close 9-point game with lots of high play offense. That's all I got for now. Back to you.
All right, well, thank you, Brody. And there you can see some of the Ouachita cheer squad rooting on the Tigers here tonight. And what has been a back and forth affair, at least here in the second half. ECU has never relinquished the lead. up to this point in this period, but Ouachita has done his best to go on some runs. It just seems like every time the Tigers make a play, ECU has an answer.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing that we haven't seen from Ouachita that we usually see just about in every game is they've really not gotten out in the fast break. There have not been very many opportunities for Ouachita to get out on the break. Only 2 fast break points so far, and them and East Central have both been toe-to-toe when it comes to points in the paint, both tied at 22. Ouachita, but I think one of the keys for them to really kind of take an advantage and really cut into this 9-point lead is get out on the break and get some easy opportunities.
Scariolo facing what looks to be a triple team as Hobson kicks it back out to Scariolo. Pass inside to Haynes, but Adams with the putback. Jared Adams.
Well, they ran the zone, and I couldn't exactly see, but I think it was almost like a 3-1-1. Basically, they had 3 guys sort of swarming the ball handler, and that's why it was very difficult for Scariolo and Marvin Williams-Dunn to get an opportunity to pass, as we have a fast break here.
Scariolo swings it back to Williams-Dunn. Hobson looking to pass it inside. Now he swings it across the floor to Williams-Dunn. Hobson pulls up from mid-range. Saved that time by Ezedinma. And now ECU going the other way. Thomas no good with the floater. Now Scariolo in transition. Makes a pretty move and one. No. They're going to say it is a charge on Scariolo. So, in fact, it's going the other way. No points for the Tigers here.
Well, and Coach Nutt's going to have a conversation with the officials. I'm not really sure exactly what about, but East Central will have the ball.
Pull up for mid-range from Harper. Bounces around but does not go. Now another mid-range shot for ECU. That one doesn't go, but it's a tip-in by Romello Wilbert.
Well, Wilbert, he's not one of the taller players on the court, but my goodness, is he physical and he can get up there. He's best known for those tip-ins, as that's the second time he's done that here today.
Harper comes away with the board. ECU trying to make this a double-digit lead with a bucket right here. Layup's no good, but Johnson gets the ball back. Now Harper pulls up for 3. Rushed it a bit that time. It's going to go out of bounds, and it's headed the other way.
That was a good look by Harper. I feel like he probably pulled the trigger a little too quickly. He had a bit more separation. I'm not really sure, but he definitely could have taken maybe half a second more time to get that shot off.
Miscommunication here between two Tigers is going to lead to a turnover. And we're going to have a timeout called here by Coach Nutt. So with 12:39 remaining here in the second half, your score, East Central 44, Ouachita 35. We'll be back with more Tiger basketball after this.
Hello, I'm Taylor King. I've been practicing law for over 34 years, but long before that, I learned what it takes to be a good lawyer, caring for others. You could say it's a family trait, and it's one I've passed along to my kids. If you've been involved in an accident, call 1-800-CAR-WRECK. I want to help.
We want to help, to be on your side, by your side. I'm Austin King. Now, I've not been practicing law quite as long as my dad, but thanks to him, I know what it takes to be a good lawyer. I guess you could say it runs in the family.
I'm Nicole Auerbach from The Athletic.
Hey, this is Alex Pruitt with Sports Illustrated Magazine.
This is Kevin Kugler of Westwood One.
Hi, everybody. It's Pete Pranica of the Memphis Grizzlies and Fox Sports Southeast.
This is Danielle Musselman.
This is Kyle Peterson with ESPN.
This is Tom Hart of ESPN and the SEC Network. Thanks for tuning in to the Washita Sports Digital Network.
And we welcome you back now to Tiger Basketball on the Washita Sports Digital Network, presented by Taylor King Law. Tigers trailing this one by 9 in this Battle of the Tigers, actually. It's ECU leading. After a pretty lengthy road trip from Ada, Oklahoma, the visiting fans have to be happy with the results thus far. But as for Washita, trying to come back here and avoid making it a second straight loss at home. And we got a traveling violation. So now Williams Dunn brings the ball up the floor for Washita. Scariello swings it to Haynes. Scariello, pass inside to Hobson, and that one's good. Great team play that time for the Tigers as Scariello passing off a good look for an even better look for Hobson inside. Now ECU looking for an answer of its own. Johnson rejected by Alex Scariello. Que juego del hombre de Marbella, España. And that's going to take us to the break here at Bill Vining Arena. 44-37 your score. And with that, we're going to send it over to Brody Kriegel for another sideline report.
Despite every opportunity East Central has had to extend their lead and just take full control of this game, Washita continues to make challenges for East Central despite getting outmatched and outperformed up to this point. East Central has had many opportunities, but kind of like what we saw with Washita in the first half, East Central starting to have missed opportunities, bad calls, and turnovers hit more their way. While Washita still has some things to improve, the second half is slowly starting to go their way, and the Tigers of Washita still have plenty of time to make it their game. That's all I have. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Brody. 11:41 remaining here in the second half. Again, your score, ECU 44 and Washita 37. Tigers have seen an uptick in offensive production here in the second half, Chris, but unfortunately ECU's seen the same.
Yeah, and Washita is taking advantage of some ECU turnovers. The turnover battle is really not that glaring. It's 9-7 right now, but Washita does have the lead when it comes to points off of turnovers, only 12-8, and then they also have the advantage with points in the paint, 26 versus 24. So the perimeter shots have not been falling for Washita, but they've completely gone away from that, and now they're focusing on attacking the paint, getting inside, and creating mismatches and opportunities.
This one for three and nothing but net.
Well, that was miscommunication between Haynes and Adams because Dixon is not a guy you leave open, not whatsoever. And they just had a little miscommunication coming off the screen. That would definitely make Coach Nutt very unhappy.
We got a foul called here on ECU.
Holding foul on ECU, number 0.
14th foul of the half for the Tigers, so they'll have to look at that moving forward as not quite in foul trouble yet, but Scariello going to the floor, draws the foul, and he has a chance for two at the charity stripe.
Foul on East Central, number 10, Jakeem Akers. This is first personal foul. And ECU's 15 foul. Shooting for Washington, number 12. Alex Scariolo.
Scariolo draining the first. There's a scramble for the ball, but ECU comes away with it.
Well, another thing to look positively at is that was the first Ouachita missed free throw. So when they've gotten to the line, they've converted.
This one a floater, and it is a foul called on Thomas as he hits the deck that time, and he's going to go to the charity stripe. This will be just the second free throw trip of the night for ECU. As the Tigers, if you can believe this, they've only committed 3 fouls as a team for the entire game up to this point. It's been an incredibly clean game from Ouachita. As Thomas misses the first. That's the first miss of the night at the line for his team.
Well, for the Tigers of East Central, there's really nobody in foul trouble either. Tanner and Harper, the only ones with more than 1 foul, both with 2. So overall, it's been a clean game. It hasn't been too terribly physical, at least not in the second half. But I imagine that will change, especially when it gets closer to the finish.
Hobson, pass inside to Haynes, making a move in the post. No good, and Scariolo is the last one to touch it. It goes out of bounds, and it's headed the other way.
Well, I like that look from Haynes. we're not used to seeing him do sort of a fadeaway jumper. He's usually more into sort of like the sidestep or just sort of pop up mid-range shot, but I don't like that from him, and that's definitely going to be something that if they want to get him more involved, that's definitely going to be a shot that they want to use a little bit more.
Johnson backing down Scariolo. He swings it. Shot is up and one for the East Central Tigers. That's Barron Tanner Jr., the graduate forward out of Bartlesville, Oklahoma, making the play for his team. Now a chance for one more for the visiting Tigers. Shot's good from Tanner. And now Ouachita trails by an unlucky 13 points. Scariolo swings it to Hobson. Little bit of space, it's no good. Rebound by Thomas, going the other way. ECU as a team in this one been okay, shooting 42% from the field. As a unit, here in the second half, they're up to 47% as a team. There's the pass inside, trying to back down Scariolo, and I believe they're going to charge him with a reach. Indeed they are.
Yeah, he had the size disadvantage against God's Gift, and most guys would try to strip the ball like he did in that situation, but it's really hard when he has his back to you, so it's kind of an easy call for the official.
Laquan Butler Jr. is back into the game for Ouachita, though, as there's a bit of a tussle for the ball. Now a pull up, and shot's good. Hobson was guarding Ezedinma that time pretty well, but it didn't matter. He shook off the D, got the triple, and now Ouachita having a shot rejected here. It's clear that this current run has energized the visiting ECU Tigers. And Williams Dunn takes it with the board. Martin to Butler for three. And just when Ouachita needed it, Butler steps up with the triple. He's now up to 18 points on the night, and his team's going to need him to keep scoring here as they look to get back in it. Ezedinma has his pocket picked by Jared Adams, and they'll actually say it went off of Ezedinma. And now Thomas brings the ball up the floor. Swings it over to Ezedinma. Pull up from Johnson. And again, the Tigers find a way from beyond the arc. It's another triple for ECU, and now their lead is up to a Sweet 16. Stolen away. And now we've got a charge. That one's going to go against Akers, and it's going the other way for Ouachita.
Yep, easy call.
That does take us to our next media timeout, and we're going to send it over to Brody Kriegel for our newest sideline report. Brody, what do you have?
After keeping it close for a little, East Central started to take over the game. Slowly but surely, East Central started to do what they had struggled with most of the night. As they finally took control, Ouachita's efforts to get back into the game were here and there, but East Central took advantage of turnovers and great defense to take control of this game. Although there's still plenty of time left, this one looks to be going in East Central's favor. At this point, one's got to ask, how bad do the Ouachita Tigers want it? Are they willing to go and just give it everything they are until they have nothing left to try and win this? That's all I got. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Brody. Really, one of the keys for East Central here in the second half has been the three-point shooting. And Chris, what a turnaround. Yep. 5 of 7 as a team here in the second half. An absurd 71% shooting from three-point range. That's tough to beat.
Well, yeah, they brought it from 28% at half. Now they're shooting just under 43% from three. Just an incredible improvement. And Ouachita's improvement, there really hasn't been much. Shooting 14% from three on just 2 made threes, both from Laquan Butler. The three-point shooting is still not the key for Ouachita in this one. It's still going to be attack the paint and get some energy. This team is lacking a lot of energy right now.
Butler has his shot deflected, and actually they'll say he was fouled by Thomas.
Yeah, there wasn't much of a closeout there. I think he also probably got him on the forearm, but definitely no closeout by Thomas, and pretty easy call for the officials.
So now a chance for a three at the charity stripe here for Laquan Butler Jr. as he sinks the first one. Butler originally from Benton Harbor, Michigan. And as you mentioned, Chris had a stint at Texas Rio Grande Valley before joining the Tigers. Now a chance for 3 straight free throws made as he's up to an even 20 points on the night. Can he get to 21 here? He will. Make it 21 points on the night for Butler. And Ouachita has cut the lead back to 13, though ECU got to be feeling pretty good about themselves at this point in the contest. Double-digit lead, just under 7 minutes to go, and trying to build on the momentum they've had here in the second half. Haynes gets the board. Now Butler trying to make another highlight reel play as that one results in contact. And he'll get the chance for 2 more at the charity stripe. ECU's not happy with the call.
Well, Johnson's trying to convince the official that Butler hooked him on the way up. But regardless, Butler's going to have an opportunity to cut into this lead just a little bit.
First shot is good. Now, I'm sure there'll be some people rewatching that play that he made in the lane after this one is over. Now he's reached the Jordan number for points, number 23 of the game. Ouachita has cut the lead to 11. Thomas pulls up and hits the triple.
Well, a little bit of a defensive breakdown. Ouachita kind of mixing a man defense and a zone defense. They're just trying to get a steal, create some more offensive opportunities for themselves. So gave up the wide open shot.
Meanwhile, Harper comes away with the board, and he'll take it up the floor for the ECU Tigers. Shot clock running down. Butler with some aggressive defense, but Thomas finds his way through, lays it up for two, and ECU is back up to a 16-point lead. Meanwhile, Laquan Butler Jr. wasting no time pulling up for three that time. The Tigers are down, but no fault of that man right there. 26 points on the night. Martin has it for Ouachita. Swings it over to Hobson. He pulls up from the top of the key. That one's no good. And now ECU going to slow down the tempo a bit here. They can afford to use some of the clock. The visiting Tigers going to add on to their lead here with 2 points from Ezedinma. His team trying to avenge a 76-68 loss earlier in the year as Butler continues to hit shots here. Make it 29 points on the night. What a day it's been for the graduate guard. And Ouachita now trails by a dozen.
Well, unfortunately, it's really just been only him, as he is one of only 5 scorers. That's a long miss there, but Johnson only one of 5 scorers for Ouachita.
And we're going to have a foul called. And with it being under 4 minutes, they're going to go ahead and take the media timeout. And so we're going to send it over to Brody Kriegel for this sideline report.
After East Central appeared to have taken it all away, and after Ouachita seemed to just have come up short after nothing, Ouachita has made it close here in the final minutes. Despite trailing many times and East Central just continuing to dominate, it's never over till it's over. Ouachita still has a chance, but that'll have to take a lot of key stops from their defense, and they'll have to make up on any missed opportunities that East Central makes here in the last minute. That's all I got. I'm Brody Kriegel. Back to you.
Well, thank you, Brody. And Chris, it's officially a record night for Laquan Butler Jr. with a season-best 29 points. It's been a phenomenal effort here tonight for him. Unfortunately, it's been an even better night for ECU defensively. Ouachita struggled offensively, and the Tigers find themselves down by 12 with just under 4 minutes to go.
Well, not just a season best, but I'm pretty sure that's a career high for Butler. And he's played at all levels. He's played at the Division I level, now Division II, junior college level, NAIA. So he's had a phenomenal career across all levels of college basketball, and so far in his lone season as a Tiger, he's had a phenomenal impact. But definitely, like Brody said, you just got to, Ouachita, they're not going away, and it's because of Butler. He's getting hot from three, but sadly for Ouachita, he's just about the only one that's been doing anything for Ouachita. Not saying that the rest of the Tigers just haven't put in the effort, it's just they haven't had their shots fall.
Meanwhile, Tyler Haynes does have a shot fall here, and the Tigers having an incredibly good night at the charity stripe in this one. Well above their season average at 92.3% coming into this field goal trip, and that number's just going to improve. Meanwhile, ECU on the other side will likely see the Tigers take their time here as Butler, the on-ball defender, and some fans thought that Thomas was dangerously close to a backcourt violation. It's going to stay with ECU off the deflection.
Well, it's kind of hard to see the half-court line sometimes, but I think he was able to sort of tiptoe and stay on the correct side.
And it's going the other way.
One official signaled for a foul, but the official that signaled for the turnover, obviously his call stood. I'm not sure if the other official, I'm not really sure what happened. Just a little miscommunication by the officials, I suppose.
Meanwhile, pass inside to Hobson. Was looking for the and one that time. It didn't go. But still a chance for two at the line here for Medarius Hobson.
That's his third personal foul, and ECU's 10th team foul in the second half. To the line for the Tigers, number 3.
And as you mentioned, Chris, not a bad day by any means, but just an uncharacteristically quiet day for Medarius Hobson with 8 points. He's going to get up to 9 right here with this free throw attempt.
Well, we'll see if he can become, with this next free throw, and he sure does. He is the only other Tiger, Ouachita Tiger that is, that's in double digits along with Butler.
Foul on the Tigers, number 25, Jared Adams.
So Jared Adams charged with a foul here.
Ouachita's 5th team foul on the half.
Just his second of the contest. Now Harper going to draw the foul in the lane. Haynes is not happy with the call. But it's going to be 2 freebies here for ECU.
That is his first personal foul. Shooting for ECU, number 22, Luke Harper.
This is Luke Harper's first free throw of the night, and he absolutely drains it. He's now up to 11 points on the night. That is tied with Keon Thomas for the second most points. Excuse me, the third most points on the team, as that one misses. And Martin swings it out to Butler. We'll see if he can reach 30 points for the first time as a Tiger. Instead, he loses the handle on it. Pass inside to Hobson. Reverse lay-in is good. And Ouachita's not going away yet.
What a find by Haynes. You know, I would have said, maybe call a timeout in that situation, but good court vision.
We're going to see the full court press here from Ouachita as the Tigers playing some aggressive defense here. Martin closely eyeing Thomas. Harper looking to make a play. Can't find a teammate. He just decides to drive. And a lot of fans wanting a walk. It doesn't matter. Ouachita's going to get the ball. Now we're going to have a foul called. And Haynes is going to get 2 free throws. This is a big trip to the line for Ouachita.
Well, they can cut this lead to 5, and the fact that this team was down not too long ago, down by like 12, 14 points, and they're immediately just a minute and 36. They're within striking distance right now.
Haynes hits a clutch free throw down the shot or down the stretch. And he sinks both of them. Now, Coach Nutt going to try to retain some of that momentum here with the timeout. ECU led by 16 points just moments ago, but Ouachita says we're not going away without a fight. We'll see if the Tigers can rally when we come back. You're watching Tiger Basketball on the Ouachita Sports Digital Network.
Hello, I'm Taylor King. I've been practicing law for over 34 years, but long before that, I learned what it takes to be a good lawyer, caring for others. You could say it's a family trait, and it's one I've passed along to my kids. If you've been involved in an accident, call 1-800-CAR-WRECK. I want to help.
We want to help, to be on your side, by your side. I'm Austin King. Now, I've not been practicing law quite as long as my dad, but thanks to him, I know what it takes to be a good lawyer. I guess you could say it runs in the family.
.136 remaining here in regulation at Bill Vining Arena. Ouachita trying to rally against the ECU Tigers in a big Great American Conference matchup. There's a pass down court. Ouachita trying to trap, and we're going to have a foul called on Madarius Hobson.
Yeah, they're going to want to try to foul pretty quickly, so not a lot of time drains off the clock. If they can't get a steal or force a turnover from their press, they're going to foul pretty much immediately. And East Central's only in the single bonus one-on-one situation, so this is not really a bad situation for Ouachita to be in.
ECU just shooting 66% as a team, or excuse me, 67% following that make. But they'll improve on that number with a 2-for-2 trip to the line. Ouachita gonna lose it here on a turnover. Here's Thomas in transition. Lay-in is good for 2. Costly turnover there for the Tigers as now they trail by 9. Martin trying to get the reverse lay-in, doesn't go for him. Now Tigers forced to foul.
Foul on the Tigers, number 3, Madarius Hobson.
Oh, it was a nice drive by Martin, but that turnover by Butler really kind of cost that whole situation. And now Ouachita either get a bunch of quick twos or try to get a quick three-pointer to really get something going.
Subbing in for Ouachita, number 12, Alex Scariolo. Subbing out number 25, Jared Adams.
Second free throw is no good. Ouachita trailing by double digits, just over a minute to go. Martin's just going to pull up for 3 here. And with that rebound, ECU's just going to take its time. We're going to try to go for the double team here to put some pressure on Harper, and we're going to have a timeout called by ECU. But we're going to stay here with just 50.8 seconds remaining in the contest. Chris, it's been one of those tough games for Ouachita with some silver linings. If you want to look at some of the positives in this one, Laquan Butler Jr. with a career-high 29 points here tonight for the Tigers. And then, we've talked about it quite a bit this season. Free throw shooting has been a struggle for Ouachita pretty much all year long, but we've really seen the Tigers excel in that category here tonight as a team going 18 of 19, an absurd 95% from the charity stripe. Truly a career night for the Tigers going to the line.
Yeah, it definitely was. And I'd also like to point out 2 other double-digit scores for Ouachita. 12 points from Hobson, though didn't shoot very well. And Haynes had a double-double, 10 points and 12 rebounds. As you can try to, and it was a good steal by Butler.
Butler passes it up to Scariolo. Scariolo draws contact. Fans want a foul called with it. They're not going to get it, but now some aggressive pressure. Ball's loose, and Ouachita recovers it, but Martin was trying to keep it alive, and he threw it right to an ECU player.
Foul on the Tigers, number 12, Alex Scariolo. This is his 4th personal foul, and Ouachita's 9th.
And now Coach Nutt is trying to
what he's trying to
understand.
do. Yeah, so based off the shot clock, it says 20 seconds. That would be a backcourt violation, or excuse me, a 10-second violation on ECU. But I don't know if the clock reset all the way. I don't think it did when they picked up the steal, which would have alternated possessions. So ECU will still have an opportunity to push this lead up.
First shot is good from Johnson. This has been a game for him to remember as well, up to an even 20 points now on the night, and make it 21 with that free throw make. ECU's going to call a timeout. And again, we're going to stay here. So it looks like there's been some conversation between the student section here at Ouachita and some of the players for ECU, although it appears to all be in good nature as it's all laughs right now.
Well, I've noticed that quite a bit.
We just got some clarification on that call, and it was that Ouachita had stolen away the ball, and the shot clock reset prior to the foul. Scariolo trying to make a play. He's going to draw a foul and throws it up there at the basket. That might have been a neat highlight to have, but unfortunately it's just off.
Shooting for Ouachita, number 12, Alex Scariolo.
Scariolo sinks the first. Ouachita is within single digits, but time is not on their side. Still a good performance there at the free throw line from Scariolo. Gonna have to get some quick pressure here. And Johnson gets the ball past midcourt, passes it off to Thomas, and that's gonna be the ball game. Thomas will just have to stand in place, waiting for the clock to wind down. And that's gonna do it here at Bill Vining Arena. It officially goes down as a split for the Tigers tonight at home. The women's team picking up a big win over ECU to move up in the standings. But it looks like Ouachita is set to drop here tonight just a bit, following a loss to a high-quality ECU team that played some great defense and looks like they could be capable of making a tournament run here in just a few weeks in Shawnee.
Yeah, they definitely could, and that was without really Keon Thomas being a major factor in this game. Of course, he ended with 13 points, but throughout the first half, he was really non-existent. It was all Quentin Johnson II. He was their catalyst. He had a near double-double with 21 points and 9 rebounds, also 3 assists and a steal to add to it. So a phenomenal game against one of his former teammates and Laquan Butler Jr.
All right, and it looks like we have one more sideline report here from Brody Kriegel. This will be his last report of the night. So Brody, any closing thoughts from you here tonight?
Despite Ouachita's late efforts to win the game, in the end, East Central just outmatched, outperformed. They were the better team today. They outperformed Ouachita on just about every level. East Central does continue their hot streak after an impressive win against Southeastern last week, and Ouachita unfortunately continues to deal with a lot of adversity. However, Ouachita still has a few games left in the season to come out on top. Outside of that, it's like you said earlier, Chase, there were a few silver linings to take out of this game, especially with the scoring and Laquan Butler. But outside of that, this team still has places to improve. That's all I have for tonight. This has been Brody Kriegel. Back to you.
All right, well, thank you, Brody. And Brody mentioned that the silver linings in this game, even though this is one that Ouachita fans overall probably will want to forget as a tough loss, Laquan Butler Jr. with a phenomenal performance here tonight, a career-high 29 points. And on top of that, too, making a few highlight reel plays. I would not be surprised to see that one play that was made in the lane circulating on Twitter later tonight, maybe even end up on national television.
Well, hey, deservingly so. He's one of the best players in the country, or in all of Division II. I don't think the numbers really give him credit. Definitely one of the best one-on-one players in the country. He can create space, and it doesn't matter who's guarding him. He's either going to get right past him or he's going to step back and shoot over him. So he's a phenomenal player, and the Tigers are very fortunate to have him despite the loss. And like Brody said, this team is going to face a little bit more adversity. Dropping their 5th game in a row. So this is a team that they really want to show up in conference, tournament time. The time is now to get things going, especially with this loss. They're a little bit behind, and especially having a lot of momentum heading into what was, their road trip and leading to some of those losses.
We're going to take a look at some of the stats. One of the things that really stands out in this game as a positive for Ouachita is the free throw shooting. You can't do much better than this. 20 of 21 from the charity stripe in this one. Ouachita was phenomenal in this one. Everybody was shooting over 80% from the free throw line in this contest. And that is something that Ouachita, I know, has been working on this season. Tonight, it really showed up. Unfortunately, some other areas didn't quite work out for the Tigers, but that is definitely a positive that they'll want to build on moving forward. Of course, Laquan Butler, one of the players of the night tonight with 29 points to his credit. He made 4 3-pointers in this one and also got 7 from the line. But also Madarius Hobson started to rally a little bit there at the end. Was up to 12 points by the end of the contest. And Alex Scariolo contributing with 9 points. Tyler Haynes with 10. Haynes also did a great job of crashing the boards in this one, as it also will officially go down for him as a double-double. He had 10 points and 12 boards. That's a game that he'll want to build on moving forward.
Well, another thing I'd like to add is that Ouachita did a great job taking care of the ball. I know they had a couple late game turnovers, but up until that, they had 8 turnovers, and now they ended the game with 10 turnovers. So definitely something to kind of build on. And looks like Coach Nutt's getting ready to come talk as he's chatting with some friends, but definitely some things to build on, but there's even more things to improve upon. And you know that their next few practices are going to be heavy, and Saturday's game is going to be interesting. And Coach Nutt is having a little interaction with the trio program. That's real cool to see. But, Chase, it should be interesting going into Saturday's game against Southeast Oklahoma State. Should be a very interesting matchup, and we'll see if Ouachita can bounce back, as obviously that's something that they have to do right now.
All right, so now we will have a brief word with Coach Dennis Nutt following this tough loss to ECU, but as we mentioned, some silver linings to talk over too. Well, Coach, welcome to the post-game show. Tough loss in this one, but it was one that had some silver linings.
Ooh, I don't know about that. We're not together right now. I talked to the guys a little bit there. We just, we're not playing like we did in January. We got to regroup. We got to figure it out. Too many mistakes on defense, and you can't win like that. They're playing well. East Central's playing well. Give them credit. But I think that goes back to us. We didn't do the things you have to do to win the game, bottom line.
Well, and this is a game of improvements and adjustments throughout the season. One thing that did improve tonight, something that the team's been working on, I'm sure, is the free throw percentage. That was an incredible performance tonight. The Charity Stripe going 20 of 21 at the line.
Yeah, a little better. We've kind of fallen off in the last 3 or 4 games on that part of it. But I'm glad to see we got it back going tonight. We need to. But, there's a lot of things that we have to improve on. Defensively is where it's going to start. And that's going to start with me. And we're going to get it right. And we're going to try to finish strong.
Well, Coach, you've already talked about some of the game plan moving forward. But one more thing about this game. Laquan Butler Jr. with a fantastic performance tonight, putting up 29 points. That's a career high for him. What was your perspective on that, seeing that as his coach?
I thought offensively he did great. But I thought on the other end he was one of many that we just wasn't locked in. Wasn't locked in defensively. You have to you can't outscore people in this league. You have to stop somebody, and our focus wasn't there on that end, and it cost us.
All right, Coach. Well, any closing thoughts? Looking forward to Southeastern Oklahoma State this weekend?
Well, we're going to have to be a different team if we're going to try to get in this tournament, because right now we're not playing the right way, and we'll have to work on that. And it's a short time to think about it and get over it. And Southeast is a very good team. They got us pretty good over there last month. So we'll have to be ready and get after it tomorrow.
All right. Well, thank you, Coach.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
And we will see you again on Saturday. Again, the final score in this one, East Central 72, Ouachita 64. And Chris Gay is going to join us here again for just a moment. Chris, what are your closing thoughts on this one, looking forward to the rest of the schedule, because you got 2 of your last 3 games here at home. This is a place that Ouachita has played particularly well this year. Any closing words in that regard?
Well, Ouachita, as I mentioned, they got to get their act together. I mean, there's no real nice way of saying it. They have to get it together, because if not, this season could be over a lot sooner than what they hope. So, but Coach Nutt, I know, will definitely get this team right. And obviously, even though there were some statistical improvements from that we've seen tonight that were difficult throughout the season, it's still not where they want to be offensively or defensively. So we'll see a team on Saturday, I'm sure.
With the loss, Ouachita falling to 10-13 overall, 8-11 in GAC play. For East Central, 15-10 overall in the year, and they move above 500 on the year in conference play, now up to 10-9. So the ECU Tigers will look to build on that momentum as they go into the remainder of their schedule. But up next for Ouachita, it's Southeastern Oklahoma State right here at Bill Vining Arena. That game tips off at 3 p.m. this Saturday, and you can catch that right here on the Ouachita Sports Digital Network. Next weekend, Ouachita will be back for Senior Day against UAM. That game you can also catch right here on OSDN. But before that, we've got some baseball action this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Ouachita will be hosting Northwestern Oklahoma State in their GAC opener, and you can catch those games right here on OSDN. So a lot to get excited about here at OSDN. Plenty of Tiger action here as we start to see that intersection of the winter and spring sports come to a close. But right now, Ouachita continuing to try and stay on the road to Shawnee. We'll see if they can keep the momentum rolling on the women's side, and for the men's side, get right back in the race. When we come back next time, again, that'll be against Southeastern Oklahoma State, 3 p.m. right here on OSDN. Until then, on behalf of the entire staff here at the Ouachita Sports Digital Network, this is Chase Hartzell signing off. Have a great evening, and go Tigers!
Touchdown, Ouachita! Way up at the buzzer! Is it going to be